If you're watching this video, you might be wondering what to expect when you move from the Seattle area to Spokane. Well, I've actually already covered this in a part 1, which you can go and find, but it's a popular topic, so I want to give you a part 2. All right, let's get it going. I'm Sarah, and I am a part of the Living in Spokane Washington team, and we are here to help you relocate to the beautiful Spokane, Washington. Now, you may be asking why I specifically want to cover Seattle to Spokane, and honestly, the big reason is most people relocating to the Spokane area are coming from Western Washington. So much so, I am doing a part 2. And maybe I can't help that I am a little biased as a former Western Washingtoner myself. But seriously, I am passionate about Spokane. I have come to absolutely love this area. But when I moved here, there were a couple surprises that I ran into, and I don't want them to be surprises for you. So I'm here to share with you a couple more things you should expect when moving from Western Washington to Eastern Washington. The first thing we need to talk about is Spokane's dry. Now, most people, when they think of the PNW, they think of it as a constantly misting location. Everything's wet, moss growing everywhere, and Spokane is just, it's not like that. In fact, it's so dry that I refuse to call it the PNW, and I refer to it as the Inland Northwest. You might hate me for that, but that's okay. In reality, Spokane receives about half the yearly rainfall Seattle does. Now, for reference, Seattle receives nearly 40 inches of rainfall per year, while Spokane's closer to 18. Why does that matter? Well, for myself, I realized I'm just gonna have to wear more lotion all the time. Now, I will tell you, when you first move here, it's a little bit of an adjustment, but honestly, it's not really a big deal. Except one of the major benefits of Spokane being drier is that we actually have way more sunny days per year than Seattle, like nearly double the sunny days. If you're like me, that means you get to spend more time outdoors enjoying nature without getting all wet, unless that's your thing, in which case we have lakes for days. All right, let's get back on track. Another major thing you need to expect when you move from Western Washington to Eastern Washington is that we have hard water. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does that mean? Well, I found out the hard way. Because of Spokane's drier climate, we actually get most of our water from the ground. That comes in the form of a massive aquifer stretching all the way from the Pend Oreille Lake down into 9 Mile. It is a massive reservoir of water that the entire region sits on top of. Unlike the Seattle area, which gets most of its water from rainfall or snowmelt capture. So what does that even mean? Well, there are lots of minerals in Spokane's water because it's underground versus being collected at the surface. That means minerals like calcium are going to be in the water in higher quantities than an area like Seattle. In fact, Seattle has some of the softest water in the entire nation. So when you come to Spokane, you might notice a white residue on your shower, maybe left in your glass of tap water. Don't worry, it's okay. It's just a little calcium. And if you are concerned about having these minerals in your water, there is of course a solution and a way to mitigate it. Just go ahead and install yourself a water softener to your water system in your house. I didn't know that was a thing before I moved here, so the more you know. Now, one of the cool things about Spokane's tap water is it's actually very, very clean. It exceeds Washington State's standards as well as federal standards. There are a ton of great online resources that you can check out if you are interested in researching further. I've even worked with clients who have moved to our region because we have so much natural resources and clean water. And bonus fun fact, Spokane is actually the largest city in the state of Washington to not add fluoride to its water. Now, take that as you like, but it is definitely an interesting fact. Talking about clean water makes me think of health, which makes me think of Spokane being the health hub for the entire Inland Northwest. I want to talk about Spokane being the biggest small town you've ever been to. So, health hub, what do I mean? People from all over northern Idaho, western Montana, and even northeastern Washington come to the Spokane area for health services. That's because we have multiple highly ranked hospitals in our area, as well as medical schools, which makes it a great area, not only if you are someone who aspires to get into the medical industry, but if you're someone who is looking to have health services close by. I have a lot of clients who have prioritized this and actually decided to move to the Spokane area because they have the quality of life that they want and they're close to the health services that they need. Which brings up another fact that most people kind of forget about Spokane, which is that it is the second largest city in the state of Washington. Our metro area is about 600,000 people. That's not necessarily including the outlying areas like Ritzville, Newport, and into northern Idaho. In reality, all of those areas kind of merge together as a metropolitan area. Kind of like what you would expect going from Bellingham, Everett, Seattle, Tacoma. Now, the distance in between these areas means you kind of like stick to where you're at, even within the city of Spokane. What I have noticed is people tend to stick to their neighborhoods. If you live in North Spokane, you're probably gonna hang out in North Spokane. Everything you need is there. All the restaurants, the shops, you don't really have to go anywhere else. Plus, nobody wants to drive down Division to get to South Spokane. When you move here, you'll get that joke. If you live on the South Hill, you have pretty much everything you need there. You're not gonna go to North Spokane unless it's for like a special reason. Like maybe you wanna check out a new restaurant or maybe a new farmer's market. That tends to give our area a very small town feel, which is especially great if you want to live in a community that feels a little smaller and a little more connected, but you also want to be attached to major amenities. We have lots of community events in the inland Northwest. And on top of community events, we have been getting some pretty large names in terms of entertainment. After all, we are the entertainment hub of the inland Northwest. You'll find major artists coming to venues like the Spokane Arena in Northern Quest, and it's actually getting better all the time as Spokane grows. I recently enjoyed Chris Stapleton at Northern Quest. And if you're someone who enjoys things like drag shows, we've actually seen a lot more LGBTQ+ friendly events happening in our area, which I drag my boyfriend along to go see. Honestly, no matter what you are looking for, you're gonna be able to find it in the inland Northwest, which is one of the reasons I absolutely love this area. Not only do I have a closer connection to nature and the outdoors, being able to easily escape off to a trail, going to a lake, hanging out at the river, but I have all the amenities of a larger city like right there, which is exactly why I fell in love with Spokane. So if you're like me and you want to move to the Spokane area, definitely reach out to us. We are here to help you throughout your entire relocation process. As a fellow Seattle expat, I am here for you. I totally understand your unique needs. And if you're not moving from the Seattle area, we still got you covered. We are gonna help you out A to Z through the entire process of moving to the beautiful inland Northwest. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications down below. If there's anything else you think people need to expect when they move to the Spokane area, I would love it if you would leave me a comment. Let's get a discussion going down below. After all, Spokane is an amazing community and all of us should feel like we're able to be a part of it. Until next time, I will see you later.